Are there. Hey guys, I'm Desi Arnaz, professional investor, and I want to welcome you guys to today's show. I'm glad you guys are here. We are live on our Facebook Live today, our Monday show, which is called Note Investing for Newbies. And on our Note Investing for Newbies show, what I do is I cover note investing and I help people that are brand new to this space understand how this actually works and understand the benefits of investing in notes. So, hey, welcome guys to the show today. Note investing for newbies. So if you want to hit me up in the chat, I would appreciate it. Let me know that you're here with me. Like and share this show today if you don't mind. I would appreciate it. Get me some of that Facebook love that you have out there. YouTube love, just because we're going live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Because that's what I do. I'm high tech. High tech. All right. Yeah. Actually, if you know me, I'm not very high tech. That's not my strength. Our show today is brought to you by the Note Investor University. And you can find out about the noteinvestoruniversity.com by just going right there to the website. You can see some of the training that we have there. We have a nice course there right now that you can take. It's $97 a month for the course, but that also includes coaching. So that includes some one-on-one coaching with me or with Patrick. And we will teach you about the note business if you want to know about the note business. So before I get started, what I want to do is just tell you guys, before I start with today's presentation, which is called, by the way, which is better, note investing or real estate investing? We're going to take a look at that, and I'll show you what I think in just a few minutes. But here's what I wanted to tell you. I want to tell you that if you don't know what note investing is, here's what it is. It's where you invest in the mortgage on a piece of real estate rather than investing in the real estate. So because you don't own the property itself, you own the cash flow that comes in every month in the form of interest payments from the homeowner. That's what you actually invest in. So you get cash flow from real estate without owning it. So if the furnace goes out, it's not your problem. They still have to pay their mortgage payment, right? And that mortgage payment goes to you every single month if you are the owner of that mortgage. You may not have even known that you could buy a mortgage, but you can. Banks and lenders sell their positions all the time. As a matter of fact, if you've ever yourself had a mortgage. Hello, Bethany. Welcome to our show. Glad you're on. Sunil is on too. If you've ever had a mortgage on a piece of property, and then you get a letter from your lender saying, hey, moving forward, please send your payments to the new lender because we've transferred your loan from our bank to the other bank. What actually happened is your mortgage got sold. That's what happened, okay? And so you just need to understand that. Again, like and share this, guys. I'm going to share some pretty interesting information, and I'm going to open your eyes for some of you to why note investing might be an alternative to real estate investing, or at least it can be a big supplement to real estate investing. Hello, Musa. Welcome. CDL Lifestyle. I like it. Mansa Musa. Welcome. Glad you guys are here today. Welcome to the show. So let's get started. Now that you know basically that you can invest in notes, now the question is, should you? Okay. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Let me just share my screen here. I'm going to tell you that I think you should, but it's personal, right? Everybody has their own preferences. So here's what I would tell you. Let's look at the comparison that I'm about to lay out, and then let me know in the chat what you guys think about note investing versus real estate investing. I've done both. I started investing in real estate back in 1982. That's when I bought my first rental property. And I also flipped my first property that year. And I did a bunch of them at that time. I owned the Century 21 franchise at that time. And I bought my first in that year, but I also bought a whole bunch more in that year. So I've owned a ton of real estate over the last 40 years. And I can tell you that there's some wonderful benefits of owning a bunch of real estate, but there's also a bunch of work associated with it. And what I've learned with notes is that I can get the cash flow from the real estate without owning the real estate. Right, Jonas? Yes, indeed, brother. Yes, indeed. All right. So let's just take a look at this here. See which, let me share with you guys what I know. Oops. Will says I'm good. All right. Glad you guys can hear me. So let's get back to our presentation. Thank you all very much. You can hear me. Glad you could hear me. All right. Welcome, Ken. Welcome to the show today. Glad to see you here, buddy. All right. Warren G. Warren G's on the show, in the house. Yes, you can hear me. I'm really happy that you guys can hear me now. So Randy the Renovator versus Randy the Renovator, Larry the Landlord versus the Note Investors, which is the life that I currently live and some of you live as well. If you want to learn how to do this stuff, what I'm about to share with you, you can just head over to Note Investor University, not Note Investing, Note Investor University.com. You can sign up for my coaching over there and I'll show you this stuff. So let's take a look at this, guys. All right. So if you're a real estate investor, here's what has to happen in your life. First of all, you need to learn the techniques of investing. So if you're a rehabber, you need to learn how to rehab, right? I mean, if you're a landlord, you need to learn how to be a landlord. It's not just something, it's not like falling off of a horse or something. You know, these are actual skills and techniques that you need to know how to employ in your investment business. You also have to spend a lot of money marketing. I spent a ton of money marketing, looking for real estate that I could buy and flip, or real estate that I can buy and hold in my portfolio. And if you're any landlords out here right now, you guys know what I'm talking about. Or if you're a flipper right now, you may be having trouble finding properties. So you spend a lot of money just trying to find properties. You're driving around, driving for dollars, as you guys like to say, right? That's all part of it. So it's not an inexpensive thing to do just to find the property that you can invest in as a real estate investor. Additionally, you're going to have to look at a lot of properties. I can't tell you how many properties I looked at that I never even got. Many of them, I didn't even get to bid on them because there was so much, there was such crap, I guess is the best way to say it. But a lot of them I did bid on and I didn't get the bids. That's just part of it. So you're going to be writing and negotiating a lot of offers when you are a real estate investor. Not all of your offers will get accepted. As a matter of fact, for those of you that are big time in the space, you'll admit, I'm sure, that most of them don't get accepted. That's just the reality of it. And you're going to have to deal with everybody involved in the transaction when you're a real estate investor. What do I mean by that? Well, you're the person that has to deal with everybody. You got to deal with the seller of the property. You got to deal with the title companies, the attorneys, the appraisers, the inspectors, the tenants in the real estate. You've got to deal with everybody. That's part of what you do. You're the hub. It's your deal. So you're totally in the middle of the mix all the time. Then you got to qualify for financing. Unless you have cash, you're going to have to go to the bank and qualify for financing. You got to jump through all the hoops that it takes to get financed. Getting your down payment, first of all, verifying that it's your money and not borrowed money. That's part of the game that they play out there right now, right? At the banks. They want to see your tax returns. They want to see that you're making money. And by the way, when you have too many mortgages, banks will turn you down. I don't know if anybody on here has ever experienced that, but I actually had that happen. And I've heard of other investors that have had that actually happen to them. Nothing wrong with their qualifying. You know, they make good money, have great credit, have the down payment, but the banks just feel like you got too many mortgages and they'll turn you down. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy, but it's a reality of the financing world. Then you got to pay interest and points to get that financing. And what's points? Points are just fees, profits for the lender, upfront profits that the lenders take because they gave you a loan. That's what points are. You got to pay that. You got to pay all the closing costs. If you've ever bought a house, you may know there's a ton of closing costs that you have to pay when you are buying a piece of real estate, right? Not unusual here in California to see closing costs at $10,000 plus. I've seen closing costs at $15,000 on just regular houses right here in San Diego County. So you got to pay all that when you are the real estate investor. And by the way, closing costs, that's just extra costs of buying the house. That's not what you paid for the house. That's in addition to, right? So a lot of people, when they tell me what their return on investment is, they tell me based upon the price that they paid for the house. They forget the fact that they paid another, $10,000 in closing costs. Throw that in the mix and see what your ROI actually looks like. And then if there's any repairs or renovations and you own that property, guess who's responsible for the repairs and renovations? Yep, that's right. That's all on you. Then you got to find, screen, evict, manage, whatever your properties, right? You got to find tenants, screen tenants, evict tenants, deal with tenants, listen to their stories. It's a big headache. Can be anyway. You got to handle all the problems that come up, even problems that are not on your property. If the property next door to yours becomes an issue, if their water is draining over to your land, that becomes an issue for you, right? I mean, there could be all kinds of stuff. If the people next door have problems with the law, it impacts your ability to find good tenants because you have cops next door all the time. All this stuff becomes problems for you. And you have to deal with all of them because guess what? You're the real estate investor. That's just stuff. And here's the best part of it, or maybe I should say the worst part of it. When you sell your piece of real estate, you're the last one to get paid. The appraiser gets paid before you. The real estate agents get paid before you. The attorneys, everybody gets paid before you do. The escrow people, if there's any money left, then you get paid. Can I get an amen from any real estate investors on this call? Type amen, brother, right into the chat. Type amen, brother, into the chat if you know what I'm saying is absolutely the truth. Okay? This is the reality of being Randy the renovator or Larry the landlord. This is the reality of that space. And there's more. I just ran out of space on my slide. But those of you that have been landlords, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Will says, amen. You're right. Well, amen, brother. That's exactly right. Patrick says, amen, brother. You're exactly right, guys. It's tough. It's tough. And then you're last to be paid too. So that's the role of the real estate investor. Let me now show you the role of the note investor, also known as the lender. Okay? Let me show you the role of the note investor. Got another amen out of Warren. Thank you, Warren. Warren G. The note investor. Let me tell you about the note investor's world. Here's what has to happen when you're a note investor. First of all, you need to learn what I like to call the banker's blueprint. See, you have to understand that banks don't lend money. I'm sorry, banks don't invest, banks lend. Banks charge interest, they get collateral, and they keep their money working. That's what banks do. And that's what note investors do as well. Let me show you this. There's no marketing to find deals when you're a note investor. Deals are all over the place. You can find deals. You can buy notes right from us, from our company at ACI Legacy Group. And next year, we're jumping this thing up like 20 times. We are really going to have a bunch of notes to sell because we are going to be buying in much higher volume starting in January. So you don't have to deal with all the parties. The only person that you've got to deal with when you're in a note deal is the borrower, the person that owes you money. You don't have to deal with the appraiser. You don't have to deal with the title companies. You don't have to deal with the attorneys. You don't have to deal with the realtors. You don't have to deal with any of those people. Just the person that owes you money. That's it. As a matter of fact, I don't really even deal with them for the most part because I use a licensed loan servicer to do that dealing for me. So I don't even have to do that. You don't have to write offers. Unlike real estate investors, you don't have to write a bunch of offers to make your deal happen. Okay? When you see a note out there, you just buy that thing and we pay cash. There's no qualifying. We pay cash for the note. So we don't have to qualify for any financing. We don't have to jump through any hoops. You pay cash for the note. It's all yours. And you get them at a discount, which means you have upfront equity when you do buy them. You don't have to deal with repairs or renovations on the real estate because you don't own the real estate. I mean, think about your own home. You have a home, you're paying Bank of America every month, your mortgage payment. If your furnace goes out, you're going to call Bank of America and say, hey, fix the furnace? Oh, yeah, they have a good laugh out of that one, wouldn't they? Doesn't work that way. When you buy notes, you are Bank of America to that homeowner, okay? You don't have to deal with the tenants or the toilets or the termite. That's not your problem. You just get paid every month. Those problems belong to the owner of the real estate, not to you. And so you're first to be paid. Oh, I should mention that. In a closing transaction, let's say these people sell the house, or if there's a fire and the place burns to the ground, before anybody else gets paid, even before the IRS gets paid, you, the lender, get paid. You're paid first. Okay? So that's what you need to keep in mind. You're paid first, not last. And you don't have to deal with any of those other problems. It's good to be the lender, right? Now, if you're new to note investing, you may be saying, okay, Desi, I get that, but I put all my money up to buy this note. What if those people don't pay me? What are my options? What am I supposed to do? Well, here's what happens. Your investment is protected, and it's very well protected, because the way that you buy notes, you buy them at a discount below what the people owe on the house. And you make sure that they owe less on the house than what the house is actually worth. So, for example, let's say you have a house, they have a house that's worth $150,000. They owe $100,000 to the bank. You might buy that note for $90,000. So you have $90,000 invested in a note, and the real estate that is your collateral is worth $150,000. If the people don't pay you, you get to take the house back. And you get to sell that house for $150,000, and you get to keep that money. So you are very well protected. I call that financial intelligence. Financial intelligence says you want to make some good decisions when you're putting your money to work. And I'm going to walk through what those decisions look like right here. Okay. And by the way, if you guys want to learn how to do this stuff, you can just go to Note Investor University and you can learn how to do this. I teach you there. I mentor you there. I help you do your first note deal. I partner with you on it and hold your hand through the whole transaction so you don't have to sweat that part. Okay. I make sure that you make money on that deal. So here's financial intelligence right here. Financial intelligence would say you should minimize your risk. Who wouldn't agree with that? You should minimize your risk. Okay? That's just being smart. How about this? The next thing you should do, just to be financially intelligent, you should maximize your return. Duh. Yeah. You want to make as big of a return on your investment as you possibly can. But this is financial intelligence. You just need to learn how to do this with notes. You should control your cash flow. Now, that's something that most businesses really can't do, but you can do that when you're in the note business. You can control how much money comes in every month, when it comes in, what the late charges are if it doesn't come in on time. I mean, you get to control the cash flow. If you have a restaurant, you can't control how many people come through that front door, can you? And sit down and order. You can't control what they order. I mean, you just have to open your doors and hope. But here in this business, you can actually control this stuff. You can also build in or engineer in your return, the return that you want to earn on your money. There's ways to build that right into the investment before you buy it. You know what your worst case scenario is going to be on your return. Think about that for a minute. Certainly can't do that with your 401k in the stock market. You can't say, okay, I know I'm going to earn at least 10% this year. It's just not an option for you. But you can do that with notes, and you can do that inside your IRA. And this year, you can even do it with your 401k, because the CARE Act, for one more month, you can take your 401k money out and you can use it to buy notes because of the CARES Act, right? Through December 31st, I believe, is when you have to, the last day that you have to do that. So you may want to take advantage of that. And then you can go to Note Investor University and learn how to put that money to work so that you can do some of the things that I'm talking to you about here for financial intelligence. And then, of course, on financial intelligence, do what the banks do. Protect your downside. You know, when a bank loans you money to buy a car, what do? They take that car as collateral, don't they? And if you don't pay, guess what they do? They come and take it, and then they sell it, and they get their money back. Same thing happens with real estate. And we do the same thing. So our chances of losing money are very, very low. Our chances of making money are very, very high. I mean, it just makes a lot more sense, right? Makes a lot more sense. And by the way, comparing it to the landlord, one of the problems that I used to have as a landlord is when my tenants did not pay me, I still had to pay my mortgage. And so I might have an empty apartment in one of my buildings, or 2 or 3 empty apartments in one of my buildings, and I still have to pay my mortgage. And that's the point, right? You want to be on that side of the table, the one that gets paid no matter what. That's financial intelligence. That's what we're talking about here. So I want you to start to think like a banker. Banks don't buy real estate. Banks don't invest in the stock market. No, no, no. They don't buy gold. They don't put their money in oil wells or Bitcoin. Banks are in the money business, and they understand that the money is in the money business. Notes give you and me, ordinary people, a chance to actually get into the money business. Okay, I want that to sink in. You have a chance to actually get into the money business. You never thought you could. I certainly didn't know that I could. So my suggestion is this. Even if you love investing in real estate, you need to put some money into the money business. And if you're like some of my students and like me, initially you'll put only a little money in because you're not sure. But over time, you will come back and you'll say, I think I'm going to put a little more of my money in, and then a little more of my money, and then a little more of my money into the paper side of the real estate business, into notes. And before you know it, you'll be like me, and you'll be all in notes, and you'll be all out of being a landlord. And I don't regret not being a landlord anymore. Not, I don't regret that at all. There's a lot to learn, but I have a lot to teach. Nelson Perez says, hey, Desi, we're learning a lot from you. Thank you very much, Nelson. There's so much more that I could teach you, Grasshopper. Okay? That's just, for those of you that are really young, you may not know what that line is from, but it's from Karate Kid. So I think it was Karate Kid, or maybe it was Kung Fu. Yeah, it was Kung Fu. That was a really long time ago. So anyway, I just want you guys to know you can learn this stuff over at Note Investor University. If you want some free training, you can just go to my Invest Brilliantly website, because at investbrilliantly.com, I have videos on there and other materials on there that you can use to learn for free. But if you want to learn how to build a large note portfolio that will pay you money for the rest of your life, it'll pay you cash flow every single month for the rest of your life, and I show you how to do that using other people's money, then you need to get over to the Note Investor University, get signed up on my training. Let me start coaching you into this space. Let me show you how you can build a $1 million note portfolio in 4 years, starting with $0 of your own. Okay? Let me show you how it's done. And then you just prove me wrong. Okay? It's $97 a month for my coaching. When you do your first note deal this year, if you sign up this year and you do your first note deal, you won't have to pay $97 anymore after the first note deal. Now, starting next year, people that sign up for my training and coaching next year, that's not going to be the case. It's going to be, you pay $97 a month forever if you want to stay as long as you want to be coached. Okay. But for those of you that sign up this year, if you pay $97 a month and then you go and next month you buy your first note, then you don't ever have to pay again. I'll continue to coach you. Okay. That's just the deal that I'm doing for folks. This is our inaugural year for our training and coaching this year. So that's just what I'm doing for 2020. 2021 is going to be a different ball game, guys. So get in now. I want to encourage you to get in now. Okay. Or don't. Don't get in. It that doesn't really impact me one way or the other. You know, if you get in, what I'm teaching you is certainly more of a benefit for you. Let me just get out of here and go live again. There you go. What I'm teaching you is certainly more of a benefit for you than it is for me. Okay. I can show you how to change your life. I'm already wealthy. I can show you how you can become wealthy. And you don't find very many wealthy people willing to share that with you. Okay, so take advantage of it. When I retire, it's done. I'm working now, helping people. This is my way of giving back. But now's the time to take advantage of it. That's all I can tell you. And I think that if you take a look at note investing, you'll see there's a great way for you to deploy your capital. So there you go, guys. Oh, look at this. One of my students is on right now. And he says, best investment ever made was in myself and in joining this group. Thank you, Jonas. Very, very nice thing for you to say. I really hope that that's, everybody, all of my students, I hope that that's how all of you guys feel, because it's really important to me that you guys succeed. That's my measure of my success, is how many others I can help to succeed. So that's what I really want to see. All right. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. It's been a blast. I hope you guys took a look at this and feel like it makes sense, because it made sense to me when I started looking at notes. And I hope you'll share this message with others, because you can certainly get yourself and your family out of any financial situation that you may be in with knowledge, right? It all starts here. So you need to learn this stuff. And there's not many people out there that will teach it to you. And those that will teach it to you, they'll charge a bunch. I know I have one of my students who paid $35,000 to a different person to coach him and teach him. And he's now one of my students. He never even bought a note through that person. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but it happens. Okay. And so my students don't pay nearly that much, because I'm not trying to make my money that way. The way we're making our money is doing deals. We're investors. That's how we make money. So we're going to do some deals. We're going to do some deals together, and we'll all make money. That's a win-win. That's how I like to do it. Okay. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the show, and share this show on Facebook, share it on YouTube, pass it around, and let's keep this thing alive. Let's get the word out there and start helping some people change their lives for the better financially. And then let's pass it on to the next generation, so that the kids that are coming up behind us don't have to struggle. All right. God bless you all. I'll see you all next Monday at 4 o'clock.